Folks, Saturday, July the 8th, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's time for the right side of campus, Saturday sit-down edition. I'll be your host today, Donnie Rightside, my partner in crime, Jeff Nadu. He's the big man on campus. Jeff, fully stocked Major League Baseball card today, starting off a couple games, early afternoon action at 1 p.m. A lot to get into. What's good, big man?
Oh, doing good, Donnie. How about you?
Hey, no complaints. Big day. Nice day here on the East Coast. Some good numbers setting up here. Hopefully they continue off of last night when it was just straight up a bomb barrage out there in runs. Hopefully that continues today. Have a couple spots that I like picked out, Jeff. I know you have some interesting topics we're going to work in here with some of these pitches that you might not have heard of. So definitely a good and interesting Major League Baseball card. So we'll try to set you up and get you stacked and ready for out there. Yeah,
a lot to do, Donnie. For last week before the All-Star break. So, again, not sure what we're going to talk about next week on the various shows.
More football, I guess.
Yeah. Right? But first things first, 2 more days of baseball, and we'll look to we actually, Donnie, if I can remember correctly, we had a pretty good day on the show yesterday. If I can remember, a lot of the games we talked about came through. I mean, Donnie, before we do, let's just look back. I know on some of these big cards, it's always fun to kind of look back. I mean, I know both of us kind of mentioned we like the Mariners, Brewers. I mean, that was a big dog to hit. Dodgers run line. I said I like the over, so that didn't come in. What else do we have? Red Sox.
Even looking at one of the square plays out there for me was the Grom first 5,
Oh, yeah, sure. I had that as well. What else do we do? Phillies under came in.
The one play I bet, which it turned out it didn't even matter. On the show yesterday, I talked about how much I liked the Yankees' first 5 innings. I believe it was over 3. They ended up getting 4. I didn't take anything on that game because I didn't like the Yankees lineup, but I should have heeded my own advice without even seeing a lineup and auto blind bet that. But I know some people out there actually took that, which is good for you. I didn't end up taking it there, but I said it, so it did work out. But again, I didn't make any money off that.
Yeah, D-backs got the job done on the run line. Houston went over. So overall, pretty decent day, Donnie.
No, perfectly overall. Before we get off the show here, Jeff, a couple of our friends, I would like to say, that have backed the show, Betonline. I know you've talked about them a lot. You've had a great experience with Betonline. Again, friends of the show, this is what we do. People that sponsor the show keep us going to keep it free for as long as possible, and they do support it. Same way you guys do support us there on the live chat. Give us a like, give us a dislike. Just give us something out there as long as you're tuning in each and every day. It's a lot of fun, Jeff, but I know you're a big fan of BetOnline also, buddy.
Yes, I am. One of the best sports books in the business, and really do a nice job of getting a lot of lines out there, a lot of options for their players. You look at some, and I'm not going to say anything about certain books, but there are books that maybe don't include stuff. They don't get lines out in time. BetOnline does a nice job of getting things out early. I know that football season, they're earliest to get lines out. They've also, Donnie, I believe, are the only sports book that has put out win totals for the NBA already. So they do a great job. Dave Mason and those guys down there do a great job. So I urge all of you. And again, Donnie, you and I are this is what we do. I mean, we don't have the luxury of going to a sports book, making our bets. So, we kind of have to really look for and grind for places like this. And BetOnline does a great job. Good bonuses, a lot of good things going on. So head on over there and check out what they're doing.
Yeah, no question about it. Also, the second thing, part of business, which again has more pleasure than business, flying down, meeting up with me and Jeff there in Costa Rica for right here. I'm going to put it right up. Look, nice little shiny banner. International Football Betting Conference 2017, the first annual. So hopefully we make this an annual thing here and after. Talked with a couple of people last night again. The one good thing I like about this, Jeff, is it is the first annual one. It's not a massive extravaganza, so to speak, as what it possibly could be in 5 to 6 years. What does that mean to you and me, Jeff? That means we get to get up close. We get to hang out with the listeners. We get to hang out with the guys on the chat box. As I said, I love to smoke cigars. I love to drink cocktails. I love to bet. I love to gamble. I love to hang out. And that's what it's going to be. So a lot of excitement there. If you haven't made plans to get down there yet, if you have a passport, again, Jeff and I still have some tickets left over there. We can pick up your transportation from the airport and also hotel stay. So if you're interested, reach out to me or Jeff or even SBR directly there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. And a lot of people have already reached out, Jeff, that are heading down there. Going to be a good time, man.
Yeah, and again, Donnie, you've been you've been all over this. I know we've all been over this. Everyone over at SBR is excited about this. And it's the first one. So you can tell your grandchildren in 40 years you were at the first inaugural when it's like, at the level of Barstool Sports. SBR is the leading, not that they're not the leader now, but they're just at a higher ceiling. I mean, you could be the first one to say, well, back when this first started, I was there. I was on the ground floor. I was there with Big Man, who's now the leading sports, radio.
Big Man's going to go from big man to biggest man on campus by then. So,
yeah, Donnie Rightside is, is him and Donnie have the biggest sports betting show in the country. And then I was there. I was there on a Saturday in July in 2017. It's now 2033, and these guys are syndicated. Shout out to Kyle, Isan, Joe, Juan White, John Mashad, Isan Zolfagare, Armin, Yanks Guy 30, best gambler. Donnie, best gambler. He has been around, Donnie, since I started my first podcast 3 or 4 years ago. He's been a listener of mine, a great guy from North Carolina. I thank him because a lot of people, I had a lot of listeners over the years, and some maybe forgot or didn't know where I went. And Best Gambler's always been a supporter of mine, so I have to shout him out. Joe Everett, Susanna, Mark Thompson, David Hardy, Vitalis, you still have not addressed why you blocked me. I would like to know. Donnie, Vitalis blocked me on the Twitter.
Is that the first time you've been blocked on Twitter, I wonder?
Oh, no, it's definitely not the first, but sure won't be the last. So, Vitalis, stop hiding and tell me what happened. Junior Lewis, New York Yankees suck. Yep, we'll get into it. Jay Marino Tomor, who is a villain on the Chatbox, but we love him. Lauren, Jim Bean, Matt Varnum, Don L. Cooper. You guys are great. Thank you, my friend. You are as well. Thank you for listening. Burns, sport of ours, Donnie. A lot of people on here today. If you're on here, hit the like button for us. We'd love to hear from you. And Donnie.
Yes.
I got something good today. I'm in the mood for football. I got a little 2-team teaser in Arena League.
Jesus Christmas.
So I'm looking
forward. 19.9. Can I buy it for $19.99?
Yes, the play is for sale. $24.99. Cement. Buy it and tell a friend you get it for $19.99.
By the way, getting back to getting bigger and bigger with the shows and doing it and building the brand, so to speak. The one thing I am looking forward to, Jeff, is maybe one day on Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, it's Donnie Rightside with the little trademark up there. Maybe that'll be actually real at one point, as opposed to just hitting Shift F9 key, just putting it in there myself. So
there you go. Yes, the play of the millennium. That's what they're calling it. The nuclear bomb, Donnie. Taifi Taka, Richard Guerrero, everyone out there. We have a couple others. JB. Yes, we will hit the early games first. John Nelson. Donnie, let's jump into it.
Let's get right after. I talked to you early in the show, and we usually like to go down by rotation, but there is 2 1:00 games today and 2 decent, topics that we could talk about on these 1:00 games, Jeff. Let's go right to the Bronx here. We're going to go 975, 976. Tyler Clippard last night, no surprise. We were on live. Big Man vented it out. It's not that you put a guy on base, Jeff. It's not that you give up a base hit. It's not that you give up 2 base hits and maybe have a balk. It's about giving up grand slams and tie games. That's what happened last night, away over the total, and Milwaukee comes away with a victory. We're going to see Suter the lefty on the mound versus Luis Severino today, Jeff. A hotly contested battle here, and since it is a 1:00 game, bet pretty up there. 6,000 tickets have been tracked. 9.5 is the over-under. 10 is peaking up with Chris, but Betonline holding strong with double juice at 9.5. -205 here, Jeff, for the Yankees is what it opened up. Looks like Betonline has backtracked just a little bit there to -194. If we take a look at Suter, I don't trust the guy. I know he had a good outing last time. Baltimore, that's before Baltimore got its head on straight. But before that, did have a spot start in June at St. Louis, Jeff. 4 2/3 innings, 3 earned runs given up. Severino, cruising along earlier in the season, but has hit some rough spots here versus Houston. Last time out, 6 earned runs, but going to the Chicago White Sox, 1 earned run and 12 Ks, but versus the Angels at home, 5 earned runs. Before that, at Oakland, 4 earned runs. So leaking a little bit of oil. Again, Jeff, I don't know what it is, maybe being around the All-Star break, but the New York Yankees, I know they're going against a pitcher who's quote-unquote not really a starting pitcher. They're going to try to mesh it together, maybe get a good bullpen day together for the Brewers. Laying close to 200 on the Yankees right now with the way their injuries are, the lineup, the way it looks. I don't think that's a good bet, man.
Yeah, it's hard to do it. And you look at the Brewers, Donnie, 23-17 on the road. I talked about it yesterday. After last night, up almost 14 units of profit, being 6 games over 500, and that means they're winning as big underdogs. You look at the last 2 games for the Brewers, Donnie. plus 200, plus 160. Get the job done in both of them. This team has played well on the road, and they're a team that's really never out of it. The problem is today, Suter, who had a really good start, Donnie, you look at it in that first game against the Orioles, he became the first left-hander since 2012 to win a game at Miller Park. You happen to know who the first one was?
Lefty?
Last lefty to win at Miller Park for the Brewers.
In 2012? I'm not even sure who that would even have been.
Our old friend Randy Wolf did it. Back,
the ageless wonder. Jeez.
So it's been a while since they won a game at home from a lefty. So nice job from Suter. But again, I mean, it's hard because, the thing about the Yankees right now is their batting average is low. They're blowing saves. Their lineup is all fucked up. I mean, and I want to shout out our friend, this thing we do, who is a Yankee fan with a lot of character, and him and I talk a lot. We chatted last night, Donnie, about this mess. And why is Headley in the 2-hole? I mean, what is that all about? I mean,
I don't know. You're going to get me all fired up on managers, and we like to try to stick to our hour and a half on Saturday. It might get ugly if you keep bringing this up.
It doesn't make any sense. So, okay, so let's say Gardner gets on. Fucking Headley hits in a double play. You bring Judge up, but no one on.
Like Jeff, isn't the goal of managing here, like, I'm going to take my best bats and put them in the top of the lineup. I'm going to take my shitty batters and bat them at the bottom of the lineup. Why is that so hard? Is that hard?
Well, I mean, this guy, I'd love to know how many lineup combinations he's thrown out there this year. It's got to be a couple hundred. I mean, it's truly amazing. But, yeah, as far as the game here, I don't have much on it. Another blown save last night for the Yankees. I guess you could consider it a blown lead. That's 17 blown saves, Donnie, for them. And I consider a save when you have the lead in the 7th, 8th, or 9th, you're giving it up, and they gave it up. Brewers have won 8 of 9. Yeah, I don't have much in this game. I'll pass. I guess I would lean Brewers. I can't really bet the Yankees right now. I just can't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like Suter as a pitcher overall, but again, it's all about value. It's all about pricing. It's all about what you see.
This is the Yankees make pitchers like this look like Cy Young candidates. They always do.
The one good thing, though, is what I do like is Suter had a really, really good outing his last time out, which, again, we know he's not that type of pitcher with that type of capability. So that's one good thing that's going to be in the Yankees' corner. But, again, I don't like the Yankees lineup. I don't like the way it's built right now. I need to see, Hicks back in that lineup. I need to see Holiday back in that lineup. I need to see Starlin Castro back in that lineup. And then we can talk, because then you're getting back to some protection around Aaron Judge. It's amazing that Aaron Judge continues to hit home runs when he's literally right now, Jeff, the only threat in that lineup.
Yeah, 30 home runs, 66 RBIs. I mean, the kid's just trying to do it all himself. And unfortunately, this team, it really sucks because they're playing so well. The lineup was good, but injuries hurt and, bad bullpens. I mean, all these issues have come from injuries. I mean, you look at in the bullpen, you look at, but again, I'm going to point this out. Shreve and Clippard should not be pitching right now. You got Warren back. You got, Dellin Betances. Look, I know he's been poor, but, you have him. You have Chapman. Those should be your 7, 8, 9 guys. Today, Aaron Judge, Donnie, in the 2-hole. So
is that where they got? So we go from Headley to Judge, I guess that is?
Yeah, so it's Gardner, Judge, Sanchez, Gregorius, Headley, Ellsbury, Clint Frazier, Romine, Torres. I don't hate that lineup, but they need Holiday. They need Starlin back. They need Hicks, who I never thought I'd say. They need back. Tough game here. It's a pass for me.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Let's get to the next 1 o'clock game, which has some interesting, outliers, if you want to say. It's going to be Houston-Toronto, Jeff. Rotation 963, 964. Opened up as a small favorite for Houston at -108 with Pinnacle. If we check right now at Betonline, Jeff, a -140 for the Toronto Blue Jays. Early on in the day, really trying to build a case for myself, Jeff, to take the Toronto Blue Jays. But I always keep in mind, when you're betting, I like to bet on stuff that I really know about. The one thing I don't quite know about, Jeff, is the blister on Marcus Stroman's finger, which forced him out of his last game. I'm actually surprised they put him in as a Saturday starting position, maybe not give him an extra day or just the actual All-Star break to come back from and let that rest. If we take a look at some numbers here, 63% of the tickets are backing the Houston Astros, and a wild swing towards the favorite with Toronto. The one thing we all do know is Fiers does struggle with right-handed bats on the road, and we know that Toronto's going to stack that up. If we take a look at some particulars on the game, road starts for Fiers, Jeff, 8 of them. He's 4-0 on the road, 4.83 ERA, not so good. He has been quite good in his past few games, 2.87 ERA. Stroman at home, 9 starts, a 2.87 ERA. But again, this game all boils down to one thing. I can't trust the blister on Stroman's finger, because if you're looking at this game, I know Altuve's out, Beltran's out, say what you want about that. But if you're betting this game, it's clear, Jeff, we're betting on Stroman to have a good game, 6, 7, 8 innings in this one. When if that thing flares up on the blister and he only goes 3 1/3, you're up, the creek.
And the problem here, Donnie, is you look at Houston. When was the last time they were plus 130?
Yeah.
I mean, can we remember a time this year that they were a plus money dog of this nature?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to look at Houston today and not say, I mean, I got to bet them at plus 130, right? I mean, Fiers has been really good. You look at in his last 7 starts, 4-1 with a 2.2 ERA, 0 home runs. Opponents in June hit 189 against Mike Fiers. No Altuve today, so that's obviously a little bit of a loss in the lineup. But again, we've talked about this lineup is so good, and it's hard to step in front of them. I mean, 32-10 on the road, 8.5 runs a game, hitting 346 over the last week. They've went over 9 of 10. But you're right with Stroman. I mean, what are you getting for him? I mean, he could go out in the second, third inning, and you got to deal with, fucking Steve or what's his name?
Biagini's back in the bullpen. That's who you got to deal with. Biagini,
really, and all those hacks. I mean, yeah, look, it's hard to not bet Houston as an underdog here. But yes, this line is not something I'm interested in. I think Toronto will win this game. This line kind of speaks for itself. It wouldn't surprise me to see Fiers get crushed in this game. I'll stay away. It just looks too fishy to me.
Yeah, they were the 2 early games. But again, interesting matchups in both of them, depending on what side you wanted to get on. A wildly favored Yankees team in this one, and one of those sneaky type lines, which sometimes, you don't want to read too much into that line. Wait a second. Toronto's a favorite, and a favorite of minus 140 over Houston. Boy, oh boy, what a genius pick. I'm going to take Houston. We'll never get that line again. There's a reason.
Scotty, I also don't mean to pile it on seemingly every show, but I mean, Joe Marino, where do you read your information? I mean, Fiers is struggling and sucks on the road. How's he struggling? He does.
Right-handed batters crack him on the road this year overall.
Right, but he also said and is struggling. How's he been struggling? Over his last 7
he's been
starts?
better lately. Yeah, he's been better lately.
Fantastic. Last 7 starts. And dude, if I can remember correctly, last week you were saying he was an underrated pitcher on the roundtable. I mean, what is it? Do you like him or you don't? I mean, get with the program, Marino. You don't like him or you like him. Because you say one thing and then 4 days later you hate him now all of a sudden. I don't get it.
If those bats can get out there, but I know, I mean, if you're looking at that game betting aside for a pitcher, I'm not sure. I would actually, with Jeff, we talked about earlier, if you took a look at the over, you might catch lightning in a bottle in that game, because one, maybe Fiers does struggle like he typically does versus right-handed batters, and maybe Stroman exits after 4 innings and you get, 5 innings of bullpen versus that Houston lineup. So just one of those outliers out there that you want to think about, even though that line does seem a little bit out of whack. Just be careful, because when you're dealing with a pitcher, one of the worst injuries, obviously, as opposed to a shoulder, is getting that blister on the finger, because you can't grip the ball. You can't get your ball placement. Maybe you don't squeeze the baseball as hard as you typically do on a curveball. Next thing you know, you're giving up home runs. So something to think about.
Yeah, you make the blister point. I mean, and he's come out and talked about his, he's been frustrated with the blister. The blisters have been a problem this year in baseball, and Stroman has been vocal in discussing his. Obviously I'd get frustrated too. You want to pitch, but you can't. For whatever reason, Donnie, and again, this is what a good team does behind you. Fiers might have a little bit of a struggle on the road, but they win his starts. He's won 4 of his 8 starts with an ERA just under 5. So, that's what's great about Houston. They're going to pick you up when you're down.
But again, let's just not overthinking it too. If somebody came to me and says, "Hey, look, man, I'm taking Houston just because they're plus money," can you really fight with them about it though? When you get down to it? You can't,
This is where in sports betting, Donnie, you will agree to this. Most people, when they look at this game, are going to bet Houston right away. Yes, they're not going to think about it.
Yep, correct.
This is a grade A, shitty, fishy baseball line.
And by the way, not to segue a play that's coming down the line here, but we got another major fishy situation that's about to hit, which we'll talk about down the line too. Yeah.
So Sana, where do you come up with these random stats? They're not random. They're on covers. You can get them anywhere. There's stats on trends and stuff, you can get them anywhere. Shevchenko, Nunez. I don't know. I don't cap UFC, but I know SBR does. I believe Andreas Hale did a video with Peter Loshak. I'm sure they broke that down there, Joe. I would definitely take a look at that. Donnie, get into the rest of the card. Let's do it.
Let's go. Let's get after it. 9:51, 9:52, Atlanta and Washington. A wild one last night, which saw Atlanta about to beat Max Scherzer and couldn't. Ninth inning collapse, eighth and ninth inning collapse after a gem by R.A. Dickey. Today, we're going to go Tehran and Strasburg on the mound today. Total opened up, Jeff, at 8.5. Currently sits at 8.5 across the board. Strasburg at Pinnacle opens up at -202, Jeff. Where does he sit right now? If you take a look at Betonline, -213. Another massive favorite at home. Again, Tehran, a little bit better on the road than he is at home. Let's get to some of the particulars. On the season as a whole, Jeff, 8 road starts at a Julio Tehran, 2.88 ERA with a 1.2 whip. His last 3 starts haven't been very good, though. A total of 6.48 as an ERA. Strasburg's been good at home. 9 home starts, a 3.88 ERA. We both know these bullpens leave a lot to be desired in this one. We do know Atlanta can stack out a nice lineup out there to get after Washington, to get after Strasburg. But it's, again, one of these things. I'm not really trusting Atlanta quite yet here on the road, and I'm not quite trusting the Washington bullpen there. If Strasburg goes 7 innings and the game's 4-2, that game's going to be up in the air. The one thing that you can't do when you're a gambler, Jeff, is lay -230, just say, on Strasburg, where if he only goes 7 innings, that's a lot of money you're leaving up in the air for maybe, 7, 8, 9, leaving it up to the bullpen. I don't have much overall in this game. If I'm looking just as a gambler, both these teams can hit, even though they are good pitchers. Technically, 8.5, maybe looking at the over in this one for me.
Yeah, Nats have won 21 of 25 against Atlanta in Washington. So, again, also common saying that the Braves play them tough. Not sure I see it. But Strasburg has been very good. 17 games, a 3.28 ERA. But Tehran has been dining very good on the road. 5-0 in 8 games with an ERA under 3. This is a tough one. We've talked about the inability of the Nationals bullpen. I mean, they pitched well last night, I guess. But does that mean they're going to pitch 2 in a row? I don't think. I don't have much in this game. I'm not laying over 200 with a player. And I definitely don't want to do it with the Nats. So this is a total pass for me.
Yeah, it's a little much in that in way of the overall scheme of things. Laying 200, division opponent, one team can hit. There's some much better games out there, which leads me into the next one. We talked about a fishy line a few moments ago in the Toronto game. Well, let's get into a really fishy line today. Rotation 9:53, 9:54, San Diego, Philadelphia. Ulysses Chaseen on the mound versus Aaron Nola today. Why do we say it's a fishy line? First of all, the Phillies opened up the Pinnacle at -130. If you take a look right now at BetOnline, Jeff, it's -153. Ring the alarm bells, sound the fire alarm, tornado warnings, get in the basement. The Phillies are laying over -150 currently right now. If you look across the board, 65% of the tickets, Jeff, also coming in on your Philadelphia Phillies. Over-under opened at 8, currently sits at 8 across the board. Again, a nice 20-cent increase there for the Philadelphia Phillies, depending on what type of lineups we're going to put out there to see if that line even shifts even more. Some of the particulars in this game, Jeff, both bullpens stink, so you better be betting on, maybe you're betting a first 5 in this one and just trying to hold on for dear life. Aaron Nola's been very good lately. If we take a look at his last 3 games, Jeff, a whip under 1 and also an ERA of 1.27. We all know the struggles that Chaseen has had on the road, 9.33 overall, but he has also been good in his last 3 starts. So over under, Jeff, 8, not looking at much runs here, but the Phillies laying 150 here, buddy.
Yeah, I actually like the Phillies on the run line here at +135. I think this is a good spot for them. They're not a team that ever lays this kind of number, but, you look here. I mean, is the writing not on the wall here? This is a Phillies line. I mean, this is sharps betting the Phillies. I mean, no one wants to bet them because most of us, if you look at this chat box, I see a shitty game. I don't want to bet it, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day,
one of the hosts on this show,
Yeah, right. At the end of the day, though, I mean, this is a Phillies line. I mean, San Diego's 15-27 on the road. They're hitting 224 away from Petco. And Chaseen has been horrible on the road. 8 road starts, an ERA over 9, a whip of 2. And Nola's been very good. 21 in the third, 3 earned runs and 25 Ks over his last 21 in the third inning. So Yeah, I would look run line here. I think you get a little bit of extra value. I don't want to lay 160 with the Phillies. I want to kind of turn that around and get a plus money price back. I think they win this game like 5-2, 6-2, something like that. I think they score some runs tonight. And look, at some point, the Phillies do win games. I think today at home, nice day in the area. Dole has been great. I think this is. I think the Phillies won 10 of 14 against the San Diego Padres, so they've had good success against this group. Nice. A nice win last night for San Diego, but I think the Phillies bounce back here and get a 4-1, 6-2 type of win, something like that. I would take them on the run line if I had to play them here.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree with it. I mean, when you see a number up there just like that, the one thing I need to see is that Philadelphia Phillies lineup to see who they're going to be stacking bat-wise, because a couple of these guys make a huge difference. I don't want to see Cameron Rupp in the lineup at catcher. I don't want to see Cam Perkins out there. Give me Daniel Nava. Give me Andrew Knapp as a backup catcher in that situation. Just give me a decent lineup there, because I think they're going to be able to hit Ulysses chasing the one. I mean, the Phillies being able to hit somebody, Jeff, we're not talking about they can get 9 to 10 runs off somebody. I'm just talking about giving a yeoman's effort there. Get 4 to 5 runs up there. If Aaron Nola's curveball is working the way it's been working the last 3 games, he should have a strong start, because, again, you're not going to get some murderers row in San Diego. And also, you might catch some value. Like, what happens if, Will Myers is just going to sit the day out here today? So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff to be determined once those lineup comes out. But as long as I see a decent lineup on the Phillies with those changes, I don't think Aaron Nola, even at minus 150, is that bad of a play here.
No, I don't either.
All right, let's keep it moving, Jeff. Let's get to the next game. 9:55, 9:56. The New York Mets and the St. Louis Cardinals. We're going to go Zach Wheeler and Adam Wainwright here. Over/under opened up at 9.5. Jeff, currently sitting at 9.5 across the board. Wainwright opens up as a solid favorite, minus 143. However, Betonline currently showing a minus 131 currently, and that's always one of those red flag games, people, because why? 66% of the public are currently betting St. Louis, and that line is going in reverse. If we take a look at some starts here, Adam Wainwright got, set up to a brilliant lead, I think an 11-run lead versus the Marlins a couple days ago, and gave up 6 earned runs over 5 innings. Before that, he was at Arizona with a good outing. Before that, again, with Pittsburgh at home and a good outing. But we all know Wainwright is a little bit leaky there. At Baltimore, he was terrible. But again, he is at home, but he did leak a little bit of oil in his last start also. If we take a look at Zach Wheeler, Jeff, 3 2/3, 2 runs, 0 earned in his last start. But the last 2 before that, Jeff, damn near had 4 innings, and it looks like a total of 15 earned runs giving up. The one thing Zach Wheeler does struggle with a little bit is right-handed bats. The one thing that St. Louis can provide at him, Jeff, right-handed bats. Going to be an interesting one. If you look at the over-under at 9.5, and again, I'm a totals guy, so when I see some of these guys with pitching matchups like that, we all know the Mets. Bad bullpen. They can hit some home runs. If they have a full-go lineup out there, it looks pretty decent. I might lean over 9.5 just because I don't trust either one of these pitchers, Jeff.
I like the Cardinals in this game, minus 131 at betonline.ag. Wainwright has been very good at home, Donnie. Wheeler has been – Zach Wheeler might have had the worst stretch for a pitcher I've seen. Amir Garrett had a tough one, but, Wheeler's been fucking terrible. 7 1/3 innings, 15 earned runs, 5 home runs, a whip of 2.86. That's amazing. He's going only like 2 innings a start over his last 3. Yeah, I like the Cardinals at this price. I think it's a fair price. Wainwright is a guy that I think the markets respect, but they're kind of uneasy about. I don't mind laying 130 with Wainwright. And again, this is for me more of a fade against Wheeler. Wheeler's just terrible right now.
Yeah, no, I would agree in that situation. You can easily, Jeff, you can easily see in this game at least one of these pitchers going like 5 innings, giving up 5 earned runs. I could probably see that. So I would be inclined to look towards the over, depending on what we're looking at in the way of overall starting lineups. But again, yeah, Wheeler's a tough one to back, and his Achilles heel is right-handed bats, especially on the road. And St. Louis is going to bring that out. St. Louis hitting a little bit better. We joked with them, a couple weeks ago how they couldn't get it together. But some of these young guys, even Dexter Fowler, I saw in the lineup hitting out of the 3-hole the other night, hit a home run, which is amazing to me. But I guess they're mixing and matching there to see what's going to happen. But yeah, I would tend to agree with your thoughts.
Also, Donnie, happy trails to our friend Bartolo Colon, who shunned the Mets' offer to return to the Croup and sign with the Twins. How about that? He says, no, even though I have an 8.14 ERA and I'm 2-8, I don't want to sign with you. I'm going to go sign with Minnesota. How about that? I guess Cologne is trying to break the record for most teams played for in his career. What's up with all that? Look, at the end of the day, I thought they treated him quite well in New York. He was much a cult hero. And again, I think it's good news for the Mets. I'm not sure why they were pursuing him here. I don't really get why anyone would pursue Colon, but Bartolo Colon, Donnie, in that Twins organization, one step closer to coming back to the MLB and pitching. So we can only hope. But how about that? Shuns the Mets and says, "Fuck you."
No, I mean, let's take a look at two fronts here with Bartolo Colon, Jeff. Number one, you're a guy, you have a hidden family. They're both in the New York area. You don't want the drama, right? You don't want to come back to New York and deal with both families. You're sitting there down in Atlanta. Maybe you have your one family with you there. Do you want to go back up in the New Jersey area and have the two families fight each other? No. Second part of this, Jeff, he's going to the American League. You want to know why? Hey, man, I don't feel like running the bases.
I don't want to hit.
You know what I mean? I don't want to hit. Like, just let me pitch. Let me pitch, and I'll be in Minnesota, and maybe I won't have any of my families. I can start a third family in Minnesota. So, hey,
I also love on Bartolo Colon's Wikipedia page, they actually put home runs, 1.
He will always have that, Jeff.
By the way, speaking of Colon, we can kind of go off on tangents a little bit on the Saturday show quickly, Donnie.
Yeah.
But I want to shout out someone who I've been watching, I've been kind of like brushing up on stories from my childhood that I found to be interesting and kind of revisiting them. Obviously, the Lenny Cook one, which I've talked about, but another Dominican, Danny Almonte, which when I was a kid and that happened, I mean, it was a huge deal, clearly. But when you look back on that story, one of the ultimate deceptive moves I've ever seen in any kind of sport. I mean, they blatantly lie and say he's 12 years old when it was clear they altered his birth certificate. He throws a perfect game and he storms through the Little League World Series. And then we find out, he's actually 14 and he's dominating kids 3 years younger than him. ESPN did a very good little film on that. That story never got, we kind of always forgot about it, but that was amazing how he just kind of deceived everybody.
Yeah, the cheaters from the Bronx. Was it the Rolando Paulino Little League?
Yes, Rolando Paulino, who was banned from Little League forever from that. And Almonte now is, he's just the regular guy. Everybody kind of forgot about him. And I always wondered, he was always kind of deceptive from the beginning. But it was amazing because we were around the same age. I remember they were like 12 when I was 12. So yeah, amazing. But another Dominican, Bartolo Colon. Will he get his shot, Donnie, again in the major leagues? We hope. Absolutely he will. And he's going to a team that's probably just going to need a live arm here and there. So he'll be up there soon. We'll all be able to bet the over. Hitter's ballpark up there. Hopefully he gets maybe he throws against Houston goes to Minnesota. It'd be fantastic to watch. So we'll keep that in mind. Next up on the docket, 9:57, 9:58. Pittsburgh and the Chicago Cubs, Ivan Nova versus Jake Arrieta. Over-under opened up at 8, Jeff. Currently sitting at 8 across the board. Heavy favorite, no surprise, to the Chicago Cubs at home. -177. Betonline now sits at -180 here. If we take a look at some splits, Nova on the road, 3.73 ERA through 9 starts. Arrieta at home, 3.86 through 5 starts. Looking at this game overall, the one thing we know about Ivan Nova, Jeff, he's going to pitch to contact here. He's not going to walk. So if the bats are hot for the Cubs, maybe they can put up some numbers here. Jake Arrieta has been a little bit better lately here. But again, I'm not laying a -182 with the Chicago Cubs just yet. I don't really like the construction or the flow of their lineup. It just seems like the games that they win, they're walking into wins, not having to work for them, as opposed to being in those tougher game environments where I see them struggle a little bit. Ivan Nova is going to keep the Pittsburgh Pirates in this ball game here. So again, I'm not interested one way or another in the -182, and really not interested in the over/under at 8.5, because if Ivan Nova's on, he's going to pitch 6, 7, 8 innings possibly in this one and not put very many base runners on pitching to contact. And from the looks of it, as I didn't check the weather in Chicago, Jeff, but if we're looking at 8, 8.5, that wind isn't blowing out today. No, I like the under in this game. That's something that I kind of migrated towards right away. Wind's actually blowing in at 8 miles an hour. This Pirates team is lifeless. I mean, week after week, you're looking against the division this year in over 30 games. The Pirates are hitting .215 against division opponents. Cubs struggle against right-handed pitching. And Nova, again, off a poor start against the Phillies. But one thing that's great about Nova, he eats up innings. When he's on, he is on. And the Cubs are a team that he can be on against. They don't hit right-handers well. Arrieta's off a very good start, 7 innings of no-run ball. I think we see a pretty low-scoring game here tonight in the Windy City. It's not windy today. It's blowing in, which is good. I think this is like a 4-2, something like that. Not in love with it, but I think both these starters are kind of, they'll bounce back, especially Nova. Arrieta is kind of seeing something here, and I think with this one, we see a pretty low-scoring game.
Yeah, no, I would tend to agree with you. Next up on the docket, we'll go out to the West Coast, 9:59, 9:60. We're going to get O'Grady on the mound versus Samardzija. Only 1,100 tickets have been tracked. Obviously, it's a late game tonight, 10 p.m. start on the East Coast. 63% of the tickets backing San Francisco at this point opened up as a -157, with the pitching change Betonline currently showing a -159 in the way of San Francisco. If we take a look at O'Grady coming up, making his first start versus Samardzija, who started the year extremely rough, has since rebounded, pitching much, much better. 7 home starts, a 4.12 ERA, 3.26 in his last 3 starts overall. Didn't get much of a chance to cap on O'Grady to take a look at this one, but I would probably lean in this environment, even though he's a new pitcher. That ballpark tends to lean under more than over, so 8.5 might be looking to a slight under in this one, but I don't have much in the way in the pitching matchup because I'm just not big on betting guys getting their first starts in Major League Baseball.
Here's how you know Chris O'Grady is very unknown, Donnie. When you Google him, a soccer player from League 2 in England comes up. Now, League 2, Donnie, is you have the Premier League, you have the Championship, you have League 1, and then you have League 2. So it's the 4th level.
Give me a team in the 4th level over there. Give me a team.
He plays for Chesterfield, actually.
Okay.
So again, pulling back a little bit of the onion here, he's fairly unknown. He was drafted in 2012 by the Angels, down in the 10th round. And you look at quotes coming from O'Grady. He is set for dreams to come true. I didn't believe it. I knew I had a lot of baseball left to play. I was still good enough, though, I thought, to compete here. Look, can he be much worse than Jeff Locke, Donnie? I mean, really.
No, I don't think anything could be. Like, you can just, you can throw a position player out there and do what Jeff Locke does.
Yeah, and again, I mean, I think that's kind of what you're setting up for. Hopefully he can give you 4 innings. It's going to be a bullpen game. Look, I like San Francisco here. I think at a parlay, they're a pretty good piece here. Shark has been very good, Donnie, especially against – you look at some of the big bats for Miami. 3 for 20, Stanton. Ozuna, 2 for 10. I know Prado has trouble with him. In his last 3 starts, 3.26 ERA, 18 strikeouts, 0 walks. His control has been very good. Again, I don't have much in this. I think the Giants will win. I just think this is going to be a tough day for Miami pitching. I don't know that O'Grady's going to have a lot of success. But again, it is the Giants, so you never really know. Pretty much a pass for me, but I think the Giants should win.
Yeah, I mean, get that price, going against an unknown commodity there, you probably would lean towards San Francisco. I agree. We'll keep it out on the West Coast, Jeff, 961, 962 on the rotation. It's going to be Castillo and Taijuan Walker on the mound. Opened up at 9.5 as a total out there in the desert. Stayed at 9.5. 73% of the tickets coming in on the home team here. The Arizona Diamondbacks opening line of -165. Here we go with another flag for you, folks. Taijuan Walker and his favorite at -165 has peeled back to Betonline to -133. So something could be up in that. If we take a look at starts here, 2 road starts for Castillo, a 5.06 ERA. Last 3 starts combined, which is obviously his only 3 starts, a 4.41 ERA. Taijuan Walker at home, respectable, Jeff, 3.92 ERA. Last 3 starts, 3.26 ERA. Someone's got to give with that total there. Excuse me, the actual side peeling back that strong. And we all know how well Arizona plays at home. Maybe they're foreshadowing Goldie getting the night off, maybe Lamb getting the night off, Pollock getting the night off. What gives here, Jeff?
Well, Pollock getting the night off wouldn't be a big deal. That guy's off more than me, and I don't even have a job. But, yeah, I think a lot of this has to do with – I think people are somewhat interested in Castillo. Castillo's been – the kid throws hard. I mean, his fastball's in the hundreds. The problem he has is control, controlling that 100-mile-an-hour fastball. And he's had 9 walks and 16 in the third. I think it's going to be tough for him to go into Tampa or to Arizona and pitch well against this lineup. But it's a good point by you making that someone's anticipating some kind of lineup move here. But at this price, Arizona is going to be the play. I mean, they're 33-13 at home. On the road, the Reds 14-29. Opponents hitting 282 against them and scoring almost 6 runs a game. The Reds have the worst team ERA, Donnie, in baseball. I like what Castillo does. I mean, he's a hard-throwing kid, but his control is just not there right now. It's hard to pass up Arizona at this price at home. The late night game on the card. As long as Paul Goldschmidt's not out, I would take Arizona here.
Yeah, last night again, man. How about Zach Greinke tying up those bats for Cincinnati? I saw the game waking up, seeing the final score, and I don't think the Reds scored until a ninth inning or a couple home runs in the ninth inning to make that game 6-3. So if you had the under in that one, it's kind of a bad beat to push, getting the late 3 runs. But again, not much expected there. Zach Greinke at home, he's been a bulldog out there. So we'll see what happens tonight when Castillo goes versus Walker.
Donnie, also, by the way, shout out to someone here asked get shouted out. Cool Trey, I believe his name is. Shout out to you, Cool Trey. Thanks for listening. D. Patrick, you got Castillo at 150. I'd love to know, and I'm always curious about people with certain bets, but like what's your thinking pattern on taking the Reds in this game? Like, I'd like to know clearly. I'm not jumping on you. I just want to know because I don't see it. I mean, why?
I guess you could say Castillo's a young kid. Arizona hasn't seen his arm yet. Maybe tricked him for a little bit, and bats come to play for the Reds. I can see it because again, it's not Major League Baseball. Teams that can hit can win games. So I mean, I see if you took a flyer on that out there.
Yeah, but I mean, the Reds are horrible on the road, and Arizona's been so good at home, and I don't think the pitching matchup is a wash by any means. I think Walker's been a nice addition to this group. He's pitched pretty well. I don't really, again, I don't see it, but I'd like to hear your opinion, D. Patrick. You're a guy that, we go head to head with at times, but I would look D-backs at this price. How do you know?
Yeah, no, I can see where your angle would be there. 965, 966 next up on the docket. Baltimore and Minnesota afternoon action. It's going to be 2 lefties on the mound here. Miley and Mejia. 51% are currently backing Baltimore here. Line opened up as a minus 137 to Mejia's favor. And has since backtracked there. Looks like he's down to about 110 now. So we've got some nice reverse line movement in that one for a 2:10 Eastern start. If we take a look at some particulars here, we all know Miley's been struggling. 9 road starts, 6.70 ERA. Even worse in his last 3, 10.80 with a whip of almost 2.5. Mejia's home starts haven't gone as well as overall starts. 5.66 ERA through 7 games, averages going 5 innings at home. Does struggle a little bit with right-handed bats at home. And the Orioles are going to be stacking all 9 from the right side against him. So we'll see if Mejia cracks back because we've joked about it in the past, Jeff. I mean, he's turned out some nice performances where you wouldn't think of it. But then again, looking at Miley just getting shelled typically start after start after start. Mejia went 7 his last outing, gave up 3 earned runs, shutouts in his previous 2 outings. Almost 5 innings, 2 earned runs. Got lamped up a little bit at home versus Seattle, but he's been pretty solid after that. Just going to be interesting to see with him being a left-handed pitcher dealing with all 9-handed bats. And again, this isn't like the Phillies throwing all 9 right-handed bats at you. It's actually a decent hitting lineup and looks like Machado's woken up a little bit here.
Okay, D. Patrick, I didn't know you were going to go into some diatribe about sabermetrics. Sorry. Okay, so sabermetrics say you like it. Okay. So, Donnie, we know how I feel about those. So, again, we all have our ways of handicapping. Good luck, man. I hope you win. One of us is going to win. Put it down. Baltimore's 14-30, Donnie, on the road. They've lost 7 of 8. I mean, how long have we talked about that? I mean, how many times have we said Baltimore's a 7 of 8 or 9 of 12? Or it's just amazing. Miley's been crushed. Twins are murdering the ball lately. You wonder how long Mejia can keep this up. 17 2/3. 3 earned runs. It kind of reminds you a bit of, Gausman and Alaska. I mean, how long can he keep this up? I think regression will hit him. I would go over here. I think the over is the play. It's hard to not bet it here. These staffs have had trouble. If Mejia comes back to earth, this game will probably go over.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in that one. But an interesting one. If you're looking at that game, I mean, it's a hitter's ballpark. You have 2 guys. I mean, and Mejia's been good. Maybe Miley snaps back there. But, again, he's going to go up against quite a bit of right-handed bats as well. We all know that both of these teams can hit. Next up here on the docket, Jeff, Boston, Tampa Bay, 967, 968. Porcello and Cobb. Total opens up at 9, currently sitting at 9. Cobb at minus 108 opened up as a small favorite. Looks like Betonline currently showing a minus 16 over to Porcello's side. Taking a look at some particulars here. Cobb at home, 6 starts, a 3.15 ERA. Porcello's road starts to 8, a 4.62 ERA. One interesting thing that jumped out on the card to me, Jeff, is the hard hit rate for Rick Porcello this year, over 40%. That means when you're making contact, almost half of the batters are barreling him up. I don't know how that's going to bold. We'll see what type of lineup that the Tampa Bay Rays give out tonight. But looking at this game, taking a look at a 9 over-under, I know a lot of people are betting the under in this one, but I kind of like the over here, Jeff. Xander Bogaerts back in the lineup. I think we can get some runs here.
Yeah, Boston's been really good offensively lately. We know that. Scored 7 last night. And, again, this is how snake-bitten I am with them. I mean, they're just rolling. I bet them 2 games. They can't hit. And last night they're back to hitting again. Just very tough to read, this team. Tampa Bay, very good at home. We know that. They're scoring some runs. Hit a lot of home runs. 124 home runs for Tampa Bay this year, Donnie. Kind of remind you a little bit of Baltimore last year. Baltimore hit a ton of home runs. Good at home. We all know that. They've kind of taken that place in the AL East. Yeah, Purcell, I've made it clear before, I'm not a big fan of his. Cobb is just average. What do you got on the total here? I didn't really look much into this game.
9. It opened up at 9 as the total now.
Yeah, I think 9 is fair. I think this is like a, I don't know, 7-5, 6-4, something like that. I could see some runs here, but I didn't look much into this game. I don't really ever cap Boston Red Sox games just because I don't really have a good feel for them.
Yeah, we'll keep it going here. Detroit and Cleveland, 969, 970. You got Verlander and Clevenger out here out of the gate. 9.5 is the over-under. Jeff currently sits at 9.5 across the board. Clevenger opened up as a strong favorite for him, -155. Betonline currently showing him still at -150. 59% of the tickets are currently betting the Cleveland Indians here at home. If we take a look at some particulars, Verlander's been terrible on the road. 9 starts this year, a 6.22 ERA, even worse in his last 3, sporting an ERA over 7. Clevenger's home starts, 4 of them, 4.50, but his last 3 starts have been very good. And sometimes when I watch Clevenger pitch, I don't know why they're very good. I mean, if you take a look, Jeff, versus Detroit, 6 innings, 1 earned run. Versus Texas, 6 innings, 1 earned run. Baltimore, 5 innings, 2 earned runs. Before that, Minnesota, 4 innings, 1 earned run. So maybe I can't doubt these numbers that Clevenger's throwing up here. The one thing I am going to doubt is I'm not taking Verlander on the road. Cleveland's starting to wake up from the plate here. Might be in for a mix of some runs for Cleveland. But again, I'm not interested in backing Verlander on the road. Clevenger, I might have to start giving in. Maybe he is a decent pitcher.
51 starts for Verlander against Cleveland. He's lost the most games to them by a wide margin. He's lost 23 games to Cleveland. They've really been a tough team for him to crack. I mean, over the years, he's really never had success against them. And on the road, he has had no success this year. So a lot of things are against Justin Verlander here. Plus, Donnie, Cleveland, last 2 games, 22 runs. They're starting to hit a little bit. And it really wouldn't surprise me at all if they continue to hit here. I mean, Verlander, again, doesn't pitch well against them. You look at some of the numbers against Verlander for this group. Lonnie Chisenhall, 39 at-bats, 359 average with 3 home runs. You look at Lindor, 26, a 346 average. Ramirez, who's had an all-star year. He is an all-star, actually. 25 at-bats, 440 average. It could be more runs today for Cleveland. They've kind of turned it around the last couple games. But can we trust them is the point here, Donnie. They've done this where they'll do 2, 3, 4 games, and then we'll see a week straight where they can't hit. The Detroit bullpen, Donnie, could be a tough day for their pitching. Verlander struggles. Their bullpen on the road, Donnie, an ERA of 7.11, the worst in the major leagues by a lot. They've given up 45 home runs, yet another worst of the major league stat. I don't really – if you're a Detroit fan today, I don't think it will end well for you in this game. Clevenger is a guy that I think has been decent. I mean, he hasn't been great. He hasn't been horrible. He should be able to be fine, but I think this is more play for me. I would maybe look Cleveland team total over, if you can believe it. I think they get to Verlander today.
Yeah, a couple of days ago, I tweeted out a stat that in the, I believe the last 4 games or 9 games, whatever it was, that the Indians were out homered 14-1 at home. That's completely changed. Also, the dam sort of broke on the runners in scoring position. I believe one of the games was San Diego, Jeff, where they had like 13 or 14 hits and only scored 2 runs. It seems that has gone by the wayside now, and they're starting to rake. And they should. It's a good hitting lineup. If you look at it 1 through 9, each and every night, depending on who they have in there, Michael Brantley's coming to life a little bit in that 3-hole. So they should be able to hit the rest of the way. One to keep an eye on. But again, I'm not trusting Verlander on the road, especially against these Cleveland bats. So I would agree.
I'll be honest. I think the overs are probably the best play here. I don't think Clevenger will be automatic. If you can get Mike Clevenger to give up 3 runs, I think this over will come in. I think Cleveland. I think Cleveland scores 6, 7 runs here. Donnie, let me ask you.
Yeah.
If you're Arizona, would you have made that move, Taijuan Walker, for Segura? I wouldn't have.
Well, I mean, it's when you look at it on its face. I mean, Taijuan Walker is a heralded young prospect, still a young pitcher, and I get pitching is so much more valued than other positions. Segura is awesome. I love Segura, but when you're looking at a pitcher who could turn out to be maybe a 2 in your rotation, or if he turns it on a 1 in your rotation, I think it's worth it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but I feel like we've I don't know if we've scratched the surface with Taijuan Walker. I mean, it's still pretty early in his career, but I mean, last night, for instance, Donnie, the Arizona Diamondbacks have had a great year. They're 53-34, but you look at their leadoff hitter here. It was, I believe, Chris Owings, if I'm correct. No,
was it Pollock last night?
Yeah, it was Pollock,
yeah.
Who's he's been injury prone, but I still feel like I'd much rather have Segura over Chris Owings, in my opinion. But yeah, I guess you're right. I guess if Walker turns into a great pitcher, it's clearly worth it. But so far, he only looks like a 3rd or 4th starter. We'll see. But yeah, Cleveland, Detroit, I would look over 9.5. I think it's a good point.
Here we go. Let's keep it moving down the list. One game, I think, Jeff, you probably should be seeing some runs in, a 10.5 over after opening up at 11. It's going to be the Angels in Texas today on the rotation, 971 and 972. Chavez versus Ross today. Ross opened up as his favorite of minus 144. Currently looking at Betonline, he's at minus 142. So not much shift there in the overall line, despite 62% of the bets coming in on Texas here. Hopefully Texas gets Elvis Andrus back as expected today after becoming a daddy. If we take a look at some other particulars, Jeff, Chavez on the road, 6.36 ERA through 9 starts, and not the best ballpark to head down to if you're struggling on the road. Home starts for Ross, he's had 2 of them, 1.499 whip, but a 9.34 ERA. He did have that one good start versus the Cleveland Indians, but since then has been hit around quite a bit. If I'm looking just this game, just this ballpark with these pitchers, Jeff, blindly betting it, I probably would lean over 9.5 in this one. Or excuse me, 10.5. 10.5, I apologize.
Yeah, hard not to. This is a pass for me. I didn't do much research on this game. Tyson Ross has really struggled since coming back from the disabled list, giving up a lot of runs, 12 runs in 14 innings. So it's hard to really get into that. Jesse Chavez, yeah, I mean, just he's what the Angels have as a pitcher. This is every guy they have. They had Ricky Nolasco. They have Ricky Nolasco. They have Jared Weaver, Jesse Chavez, JC Ramirez. This is what they have. They're all 4 or 5 inning guys. It's amazing they've won this many games with this staff. I mean, Donnie, over the years, they've had some of the worst staffs in the league. They still somehow manage to win games. And I think that goes to show you they're 500 basically with no Mike Trout and a shitty rotation. And that's where you have to look at Soch and say, wow, he's a great manager. Maybe he's worn out his welcome there, but you can't discount what he's done. I mean, they haven't had a quality starter in a long time. Then no Mike Trout, and they're still at 500.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. Getting some updates and some games here. No score in Houston and Toronto, but a 3-run blast by Domingo Santana to that ridiculously short porch in right field. Has them up, and the next batter also now on base with it. So it looks like Severino getting lit here in the first inning. So
I'm telling you, man, these Brewers, man, down the road, they're tight, bro.
They need to make one of the. Remember a couple years ago when they were making the playoffs, they made that trade to get CC Sabathia 100 pounds ago, and about 10 years ago worked out really well. I wonder if they can swing something like that this year because they can hit with anybody.
Donnie, I got a feeling, and I've noticed this about you. Mm-hmm. I've known you for a long time, and I get the feeling you look at bigger people and you're disgusted by them. Is that true?
No, absolutely not. I mean, I can't even make any comments about my family as it is, comments. I mean, I joke around with a lot of stuff like that, but I get angry at stuff like if they said, Jeff, if they said to me, let's just say, I'm 205 pounds or whatever, which I am. Right. Let's just say if they said, Donnie, in order to be on SBR, you need to be at 295 pounds and we'll pay you good money. You know what I would do, Jeff? I would eat my way up to 295 because that's what's in my contract. Vice versa. If they told me, Donnie, we're only in the real skinny dudes on SBR and that's all we do. You need to be at 145 if you want to get paid here. You know what I would do, Jeff? getting paid, I probably would get down to 145. The one thing I wouldn't do, because again, in our position, what we are, whether or not I'm 205, 195, 355, probably doesn't affect what we do too much, sitting at a desk and talking, going over information. But when you're a professional athlete, you're supposed to be in shape, and it just angers me. That's all.
Dude, does it surprise you? And again, this is funny about like stats in baseball and like different shit.
Yep.
You remember when Iverson was in the league, he would always say he was like 6'1".
Yes.
He was only like 5'10".
Yeah, exactly.
Google CC Sabathia weight.
What he's listed. What is he actually listed at? What is it? What does he list himself? Yeah.
There's no way.
Is that his rookie weight?
Yeah. What is that, 5 years ago? That's funny for sure. But yeah, I agree. I think, and I've actually made this point about Robert Kardashian, which it doesn't make any sense to me either. I mean, explain this to
Jeff. Like again, the whole we talked about the Rob Kardashian thing. Just take a look at CeCe. Are you telling, like, the Yankees will put 3 chefs in his house for free? They will pay for his food. They will pay for his personal trainer. They will pay for his ride to the gym. They will pay for everything for the guy. It's not like it's like, oh man, I just can't get around to it.
All you have to do is literally, you have a chef that will cook you anything you want, and he'll
24 hours a day
for you. And again, it's all about, and this is kind of where, for me, like with weight, for me, like my dad will tell me, you have to look at food as just, it's like nourishment. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And for me, like, I don't really have someone that can cook for me.
I'm the same way as you. Eat to live or live to eat is the question.
Yeah, and it seems like CeCe's like, nope. I don't care. I like eating pizza and cheeseburger. I'm going to do it. I don't care. I'm good with it. But again, he's at the end of his career. He is where he is. And Donnie, I mean, what else do you really say about it, right? I mean, it is what it is. The drinking has been a problem. And last thing on Kardashian, I mean, how do you pay for Black China to have weight loss surgery, but you don't get it yourself? Does that make any sense?
No, he didn't want to cave in here. Jeff, next game up here on the docket, which I know you're going to get into. I'm going to let you lead the way here. 973, 974, Oakland and Seattle. 2 pitchers that you might not really know about. Jeff, I want you to lead this off. We're not going to tell you who said this, where it was said, but I just want you to hear a certain quote, Jeff. Give it to him.
Yeah, again, Donnie, I called you when I found this, and
yes.
I found it to be one of the more amazing things I've ever read in baseball as far as the starter today for the Oakland Athletics.
Oh, I didn't want you to give it. Go ahead now. I didn't want you to give it.
His name is Chris Smith. Yeah. Okay. And again, you look at Chris Smith and you say to yourself, okay, Jarrell Cotton is I guess Jarrell Cotton's injured. I don't know. I don't know what his situation is, but Chris Smith's making it start today. Chris Smith was drafted, Donnie, in 2002. How to do a double take on that? That's 15 years he's been in the minors. You look at the quote by Chris Smith. Now, this is a quote directly from AAA manager Ryan Christensen. He told Smith that he was going to start today. I honestly don't believe it, Smith said. He told me, you're not going to start Friday. They're going to throw you on Saturday in Seattle. I was like, what? Seattle? No, wait. Do they know I've never started a game in the big leagues in my life? Are you serious, Rhino? I think you got the wrong guy. He said, hold on, and looked at the email and said, no, it's you idiot. I was like, okay, let's do it. And then just straight nervous, like, oh, God, what do I do? What do I have to lose? I'm a 36-year-old stay-at-home dad.
That's a great life.
Is that the most amazing quote you've heard? I mean, it's literally like they're bringing this guy off the street to pitch today. I mean, he's the oldest minor leaguer to ever get a start in the major leagues. He's 36 years old. He was, again, drafted in 2002 by the Boston Red Sox in the 4th round. 36 years old, Donnie, making his first start. And I will say this to him, congratulations. This is a pretty cool thing for a guy like this guy. Probably will never do it again. It's right before the All-Star break. Just trying to eat some innings up here. But, Donnie, I mean, you have to get the feeling it's not going to end well for Chris Smith here, right?
Yeah, no, I do. It sounds a little bit like me, you know, I'm around that same age, you know, I'm 40, you know, stay-at-home dad. I'm in the minor league system here at SBR. So, I mean, it's a lot of parallels here.
It's amazing, man. It really is. It's literally, you know, getting your dream here. I mean, it's pretty cool in a way. I mean, again, I hate to bet against the guy. It's hard to. And this Moore kid, I mean, this Andrew Moore, I believe his name is, 7 innings plus in both of his outings. Seattle kind of got the monkey off their back, if you will, last night and got the job done. Nice outing from Paxton. I thought it was a great spot for them. You know what, Donnie? This reminds me of Nick Turley. I mean, it really does. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to go with the Mariners. I think this is a game we all need to bet on. You don't have these ops very often. And look, if Chris Smith comes out and pitches well here, I'll say, you know what? Congrats. Fantastic stuff. You actually dominated a lineup like this. I just can't do it, Donnie.
Yeah, no, I hear it. It's an interesting background situation, which, again, when you look for all angles in gambling, reach out, find some things. That's an amazing one where the kid's like, Jesus Christ, I'm going to be facing Robbie Cano. What am I going to do? That's not the best attitude going in when typically you're coming up to like, watch me gun down Cano. I don't think I think you might as well hit a home run, get the ball signed, and head to the dugout.
And Donnie, Oakland's bullpen has really started to get really bad. I mean, they're one of the 5 worst in the league. This could be a tough day for the Oakland Athletics pitching staff.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that one. Next up on the docket, Jeff, 2 games left here that we're going to review. 977, 978. Ian Kennedy totes the rubber versus the L.A. Dodgers, who won another game yesterday, against the run line. Over-under opened up at 9, currently sitting at 9. Minus 180 for McCarthy. Been bet up to Betonline, Jeff, to minus 190. 59% of the tickets are backing the Dodgers here. Ian Kennedy's 8 road starts, not too bad, 4.23 ERA, a lot better even in his last 3 at a 2.45 ERA. McCarthy, 3.07 through 8 starts at home. Last 3 games been good as well. Same thing all year long, 3.14 ERA in his last 3. Overall, Jeff, 3.25 with a respectable whip at 1.160 on the season. Are you betting against the Dodgers at home, Jeff?
No. I can't ever bet against the Dodgers at home. And again, I don't really know why you do it here. I mean, Ian Kennedy, he sucks. I mean, how often we have to say it? The guy's given up 16 home runs. He's given up more than 1 or more in 10 of 11 starts. Actually, his last outing, he didn't give up a home run. That was the first time, Donnie, over 10 starts, he didn't give up a home run or more in his outings.
Yep.
You got to look at these numbers and just – how are they not an auto bet? I mean, opponents are hitting 207 in Dodger Stadium, Donnie. And you know what the Dodgers remind me of, Donnie?
What's that?
The Cubs did the same exact thing last year. Their pitching was amazing all year. Their rotation was fantastic. They were covering run lines. Opponents hitting like 210 in Wrigley Field. This is what the Dodgers are. This is a special year for this team. Kansas City's only hitting 240 on the road. They were really handcuffed last night by Maeda, Maeda's had his struggles this year. And Donnie, we can talk about Wood and Kershaw and even, and other guys, the bullpen. But Brandon McCarthy, 13 games, a 3.25 ERA, doesn't give up many home runs. I don't think he's given up 4 this year. His whip is 1.1. And I know he's coming off the DL, but he threw a simulated outing. He's definitely ready to come back here. Again, Dodger run line plus 100. It's covered in like 82% of their games this year. So, I'm not a Kennedy guy, especially on the road.
Yeah, final game here up on the docket, Jeff, 979, 980. Quintana and Hoffman over under set at 11. Actually bet down to 10.5 at Coors. I don't see that too much lately here. Minus 142 is a favorite for Hoffman. Currently sitting at BetOnline, Jeff, at minus 134. Particulars on this game. Quintana's been good on the road through 9 starts, a 3.93 ERA. Even better in his last 3 at 1.56. But you all know, how's that going to translate when heading into Coors? If we look at Hoffman, his home starts, more Coors-like, so to speak, 4 starts and a 6.86 ERA. Last 3 starts combined ERA, 7.27 on the season. Overall, though, he has been much better. 8 total starts, 3.94, but looks like he's coming back to earth, and some regression has set in on his line. I don't have too much on this game because it just looks to me that Chicago White Sox lineup just a little bit too banged up right now to trust on the road. We'll see what happens here, but as an over-under, it's Coors. Are you going to take an under and just sweat it out? I mean, I can see that, but you're probably looking at more of an over than you would an under here. Coors, especially getting a bargain discount price, Jeff, at 10.5.
Donnie, before I get into this game, I've done these shows for a long time. I mean, I've been on SBR 3 years now. I'm doing, I know you've been doing a show, me off and on.
Yep.
We've been doing this a long time, haven't we?
Yeah, no, it's,
I've met thousands of people in this business, friends, colleagues, bettors, you know, and most of them I've really enjoyed dealing with. But Donnie, I don't know what it is. I just can't like Phil Marino. I hate the guy. I can't stand him. Everything he says makes me want to throw up. I don't know what he has to do. And he was, if I actually was talking to him yesterday, he was almost pleasant in a way because like he was just kind of educating me on things. But I got to be honest, talking to him about anything sports related is like going to the dentist and then pulling your teeth out with pliers. I would rather do that than talk to him about anything competitively. And again, he has his opinion, I have mine, but it's just, when you meet someone, you don't vibe with them.
You just don't hit it off with Phil Marino out there? Actually, now that he's a lawyer, it sort of makes sense, doesn't it? That he just plays devil's advocate with you.
And again, I hate lawyers, so again, that not surprising me either. Again, I love everyone in this chat box. Truly, I even D Patrick. I mean, I know D Patrick has a certain way of capping games, which we all do. I mean, I'm not a sabermetric guy, but I do respect what he's doing. He's looking at angles and stuff, and there's plenty of people here that I don't necessarily agree with. But like Mike Brenner, I didn't agree with his capping style. He kind of was irritating at times, but he was funny. He made me laugh at the end of the day. Phil Marino does nothing positive for me. He's like I don't even know. Jim Beam, I don't not like you. I just think you just try too hard to be funny. But I love everyone knowingly, but it's like everything about the things that he does is I don't watch the show. It's on in the background, but you comment on everything we do. Every show on SBR you're on. It's like you clearly like it, but just like you act like you don't. You're just here to give us you're just showing up to say, well, I'm here, guys. I want all the attention. And it's clear on the chat box you want everyone's attention. Everything you do is points towards that. I just had to say that, Donnie. I appreciate his support, but I don't think he's doing it because he likes us. It's just I don't know what else to do. I appreciate his candor, but I just don't care about it.
That was the PSA. That was the Saturday PSA right there. It was a very nice rant by you, big man. Very nice and under control. You didn't get all upset. You didn't get upset. It was very nice.
I'm not going to get upset anymore. I mean, I used to be the guy that would do that, but
we've come a long way. I mean, a couple months ago, we were telling people, beat it, get off my show, don't watch. I mean, you've come a long way here. I'm very proud.
Look, I mean, he's going to do what he wants to do, and that's what I've learned about people like him. Trolls are trolls. I think we all clearly understand the guy he is. He's just he's a disagreeer. That's what he does. He wants to prove his point. He's like my younger brother. My younger brother's the same way. It doesn't matter about anything. I could tell him the sky's blue. He'll argue with me that it's a shade.
Yeah, everybody has that. You're sitting in the room like, God damn, the Eagles look good last week, and all of a sudden somebody pops up in the back. Yeah, they didn't look that good, and here we go.
Yeah. It's like everything you say, he tries to, challenge you. Phil Marino, I don't ever pretend to like people. I've made it clear I hate you. I can't stand you. I've never acted like I liked you. I can't stand you, really. And I think as far as realness, Donnie, I don't think you get any more realer than me.
No.
I'll come out and tell you if I fucking hate you, and I can't stand you. You make me want to throw up. So again, you have no issues with anyone. Don't listen to my show, Phil Marino.
Come on. We had months without that comment. Come on.
He's
throwing people off the show. Damn it.
No, and this is why I truly believe he's nickels and dimes, because he makes everyone else act like he's some savior, and he hates me. It's clearer than day. You don't live in Philadelphia. You're not a lawyer. You're just some loser in their room bothering me every day. That's what you are, bro. And again, I made it clear. And now he'll go into telling me that I need to go on a diet. That's what people do, Donnie. That's what these trolls do. They have no viable options to talk, so they just tell me how I need to go on a diet, and I don't have any discipline, and I can't win money betting. Do we see the true colors with this idiot? Do we see it? I mean, do we all see what this guy is really about? There's no saga. I've told him, come on the show. Stop hiding. The answer is, I don't want to. I'm too yellow to come on. I don't want to do it. Stop making excuses and come on the air. Stop being a baby. Stop acting like you're this, you're attention whore. You would love to come on the show, but you don't want anyone to know who you are. That's exactly who you are. And we all know what you are. You're a fraud, and you come on here and act like some high and mighty sports handicapper when you're just a loser in his mother's basement. It's true.
That's a great way to end the show. That's a nice little rant to end the show there. I appreciate it.
I'm not even in it. I can't get in it. I don't care. Who cares? No one knows who you are. You're some fucking loser that breaks my balls all day. And then when you get mad, you call me fat and I pay for hookers and you're a bum, dude. You come on here and bum and troll me all day. Come on, dude. I'm in my parents' house pretending to have money. Okay. I'm lucky. I have a great family, luckily. Clearly yours didn't teach you respect and compassion for others. I'm in. I'm done. That's all I have to say. Let's move on.
By the way, yeah, before we get out of here, we only spend a couple minutes here. Do you have I have the one side total for a team total first five I'm going to give out. You got anything you want to give out to them real quick?
Well, again, I think we've made some hayway here, Donnie, with the card. I think Detroit, Cleveland, pretty good overplay. Twins, Orioles, pretty good overplay. I'm going to stay away from that fishy Phillies line, I feel like. Mm-hmm. I do like St. Louis. And I'm going to stay away from Houston. So, I don't know. Again, this is, the All-Star break.
I'm gonna take a shot. I have a premium play out on a game already. I'm actually trying to line up a second game a little bit later, maybe even a third. I think the card's very good today. I want to take advantage of it because, again, tomorrow is one of the trickiest cards on the planet where, we know what the numbers are on the field is. But when a guy's got that plane and he don't want this game to last too long because he don't want to miss his junket to Vegas to pick up his wife and his friends and all that, that weighs on a lot of these guys where they're already checked out. Like it's straight up vacation is about to come into play. Like you're sitting at work on a Friday at 4:30. You just want to get the hell out of there. These guys are the same thing. They're human beings trying to do that. So I'm trying to line up some things that make sense today and maybe pick and choose for us tomorrow. But today, if you're just looking at something you want to chew on, maybe a little side here, first 5 innings, take the Baltimore Orioles over 2.5 as a team total. Those 9 right-handed bats here, I think they can get after Mejia. What's up?
Not believing in Mejia, huh? You think he's going to regress? I agree.
I think he's going to – it's not so much that he's going to regress. I don't think he's Chris Sale out there on the mound. I just think when you have a really good hitting lineup out there, all from the right-handed side versus a lefty, somebody's going to get to him. Are they going to blow him up for 7 runs in the first 5? I mean, I don't know about that, but I'll take my chances that, Mejia goes 5 innings, gives up at least 3 runs. I think there's a good possibility. And it's not a lot of juice anyway. Earlier today on 5 Dimes, got a bet minus 130. Maybe it's minus 135. Anything under minus 150, I think it's a decent play.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, and we'll root you in on that. Donnie, one other thing. My favorite memory of his was when we asked him to call in, and he said he left his phone at the doctor's office. That was
a good one. I don't remember that. That's pretty good.
That was a great one. But again, yep, fake pussy, you can't show a winning record. That's typical troll talk, Donnie. But we all know. I don't think there's any more realistic than me. He thinks he's famous. Well, you watch my show every day. Thank you, bro. We appreciate you. Thank you for continuing to watch us.
Yeah, well, that'll do it for the weekend for us, Jeff. We'll be back as normal, as our pair on Monday night. Interesting. We're not going to have any sports to talk about next week. Monday, we got a show. We got 2 shows Tuesday, 2 shows Wednesday. No Major League Baseball. Buckle down for the helmets to come out, right?
And again, I must point out, Donnie, my birthday is on Monday. So, again, anybody want to send me a well wish, I appreciate it. I would often hope that we can continue to have some fun here.
We'll have a birthday show, man. We'll have to get SBR to hook it up for you, which, they will.
The only thing I want out of life is I want Tho Marino to never contact us again and hopefully go away and never come back. That'd be the one birthday gift I'd ask for. Thank you to all of you. I love all of you on here. You're great people, and I have fun with it. But sometimes you just got to get a little real, Donnie.
No, I hear you, man. Any last parting words before we get out of here?
Tampa Bay Storm, they get the job done today in Arena League football. I do like the over as well. 2 teams with heavy offenses, Donnie. Both these teams lead the Arena League in offense. 2 good quarterbacks. I think we see the over come in here as well. Maybe tease that up to 8.5. Take the over 100.5. I think we got a winner there, Donnie.
All right, folks, that'll do it for today on Saturday. Good luck with all your wagers out there. I'll be dipping into the card, seeing what's going to happen. I got a play coming up at 2:10 p.m., so wish me well in that one. And let's get after it, Jeff. Have a good day, guys.
All right, bro. Take it easy.